Hey everybody, Aaron from the Ballpit here, back with another episode of the Writer's Block, and it is a Monday, February 12th right now. Super Bowl was last night, and I just wanted to talk about a couple things, especially related to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, because they've been all over the media. However, before I go into this topic, I think it is my duty in a lot of ways. I feel it necessary to talk about what is happening in the Gaza Strip last night. And it may be coincidental, but I don't believe it's coincidental that during the biggest United States sporting event, where all eyes are essentially on it and not focused on any other media, and all media that's not related to the Super Bowl is going to be drowned out by news of what's happening there, Israel decides to essentially carpet bomb the most currently populated area of the Gaza Strip. I forgot what it was. I think it was Rafah, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. Let me just look it up really quick. I don't want to. Rafah. Rafah. And essentially what had happened is Israel told Gaza civilians that was going to be a safe area, but then took the time to bomb it as they claimed that there was Hamas terrorist organization working there. And it's something that even though the Super Bowl has come around, there's a lot of news related to that and related to, Beyonce's new album, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, whatever else. It's still important to remember the lives of the civilians being brutally taken in Gaza from the Israeli genocide that's happening right now. And I wanted to just intro the video saying that, just to, raise awareness, as there might be a lot of people who don't know, and just to, at the forefront say, as much as, I enjoy talking about various creative topics and media topics and everything like that, it's still important to make sure we keep our priorities straight, and that the lives of civilians, especially ones that are being attempted to be taken in the Gaza Strip, are the most important. So I just wanted to lead with that. Raise awareness, donate money to reputable organizations that hopefully get aid, and, hold your political leaders accountable to stop giving money to Israel and instead try to fight for a ceasefire out over there in the Middle East. All right, so I'm going to now talk about what this video is actually about, which is Travis Kelce especially, but also just relation to Taylor Swift. So one of the biggest things I saw a lot of the media talking about yesterday was the little sideline interaction that Travis Kelce had with Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. It was right after Isaac Pacheco, I believe, fumbled the ball, and Travis Kelce bumped into Andy Reid and was visibly very angry and yelling. And a lot of people, especially conservatives, and I'll get into why I think it's especially conservatives in a second, took to social media to start flaming Travis Kelce, calling him a thug, a brute, he should be kicked off the team, sat during the game, anger issues, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And when I saw all those people doing that, I said this is one of two things. Either this person's a conservative attempting to use this moment as leverage against Travis Kelce because they don't like them, or you've never played a team sport before. So let me start with the first one, which is conservative. So conservatives don't really like Travis Kelce right now. Number one, he is vaccinated and pushed the Pfizer vaccine. I think he appeared in a commercial or something, and they don't like that. And so they're going to take any moment they can to disparage somebody that is so publicly in support of the vaccine and any chance they can get. That's step one for the conservatives. Step two is that Travis Kelce is with Taylor Swift. Obviously, the conservatives have had a newfound hatred for Taylor Swift ever since she's been cut to during Chiefs games several times throughout the NFL season, but also mostly because conservatives and incels alike, they don't know what to do when they're faced with a successful woman. To them, women are supposed to adhere to a certain set of principles that Taylor Swift doesn't. Taylor Swift is incredibly wealthy and self-made. They don't like that for women, right? To them, a woman is supposed to have one partner that they marry and just be a mother to, and Taylor Swift is has dated around, as most people do. This is not not crazy. Is in her 30s, is not a mother, and instead works for herself. And conservatives don't like that. And also, it seems like Taylor Swift is fairly liberal. I'm not going to call her progressive, but I'm going to call her liberal. All right, political nerds, just tune out your ears for a second. She's fairly liberal, and the conservatives don't like that. And they attribute that to Travis Kelce. So they see Travis Kelce have a moment, and they're going to pounce on that like a hyena, and like an injured gazelle. They're going to pounce and try their best to just ruin his image because that would make them feel better about themselves. The second thing is that you've never played a team sport before. I've played team sports before, and things get heated on the sidelines, especially when you are losing or you come across moments like that, big mistakes, and there's difference of opinion. You have to understand, in the National Football League or any professional sports organization, not only are the coaches experts of their craft, but all of the players have been surrounding themselves with football for most of their life at this point. Travis Kelce's like 34. He's probably been playing football since he was like 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, the professional sports organizations are filled with people who are experts at the sport and have been playing it and around it for decades, right? So there's a bunch of people that at least feel like they know what they're talking about. And when you come across a difference of opinion or something like that, it can get heated sometimes. I'm sure that Travis Kelce was probably upset because he wanted to be more involved in the game, and he thought that if he was more involved or something else, the Chiefs' offense would be a lot less stagnant. And, these kind of things happen. I remember in high school, I was a lacrosse player, and I remember I'm just going to tell an anecdotal story. So I was a lacrosse player, and I played defense. So if you know anything about lacrosse, I had a long pole. It's a 6-foot lacrosse stick compared to a normal size lacrosse stick for most other players. I played on the defensive side. We did special defense we called Eagle, which is a zone defense. I'm not going to go too far into it because it's a bit technical, but it was a zone defense. Typically, we would run a man defense, which we called AJ, but we liked playing around with this zone defense just to switch things up. So at one point during a game, we were playing this team, and our defensive coach called for us to check to our zone defense, to Eagle. So we checked to Eagle, and we very quickly discovered that the opposing team had watched film on us and drew up a zone beater for our Eagle. And so we kept trying to check out of Eagle into AJ because we realized that they had a zone beater, so we couldn't run zone. We had to run man. But our defensive coach didn't see it and kept yelling at us on the sideline to check to Eagle. We didn't do that during a defensive play, and I think they scored, and he called like a timeout and pulled us in and started getting in on us about why we're not listening, why we're not checking the Eagle. And I remember our defensive captain, who was our goalie, getting heated about it. And there wasn't a physical confrontation, but there was definitely tensions in a confrontation. Those kind of things happen in sport when two people see things from two different perspectives, and they're both heated, they're both passionate, they're both invested in the game, and they go after it. Travis Kelce just approached it in not the most respectful way. He went in. He probably wasn't even attempting to bump Andy Reid, but accidentally did it. Got a little bit too close, bumped him with a little bit too much force. Didn't realize that, Andy Reid's a pretty big guy. Probably didn't realize that would affect him so much, which it didn't even really. I saw news. I was like, Travis Kelce body checked his coach, elderly coach, Andy Reid. I'm like, that's not exactly the most realistic view of it. But it's like, these things happen. And as long as Travis Kelce took the time to privately apologize to Andy Reid, I don't understand what everybody's mad about. People are like, well, we didn't hear an apology. Good. You fucking shouldn't. You shouldn't hear an apology. If you do a public apology to a person for an event, you're scum. You are scum. If you can, you should privately apologize because that's how it means something. If you do something publicly, what are the chances that you're putting on a facade? You're putting on a character just so you can play nice for the cameras. No, apologize personally and privately to the person, and It remains to be seen if Travis has done that. But at the same time, it's not our job to police him in that manner. So I didn't have a huge problem with what happened. I thought it was a bit disrespectful in the moment, but I also understand how heated it gets when it comes down to when it comes to big games. It comes to big games. And this is like the biggest game. So things are going to get heated. That's just the way it works. And then after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, spoiler alert, I saw a lot of people basically getting mad that it happened, getting mad at Taylor Swift for everything else. And I just genuinely can't understand why. They're like, they keep cutting to Taylor Swift. I'm like, why is that her fault? She doesn't control the cameras, right? Like, that's the NFL's fault. Get mad at the NFL for constantly panning away. And you don't even need to get specific. Get mad at the NFL for constantly panning into the crowd. Be like, we are here to fucking watch football. Keep the goddamn camera on the field. Right? It's not Taylor Swift's fault or responsibility to make sure she's not on camera. It's not. She is attending the game just like anybody else. Every player on that team, not every player, because some of them could be single, but a lot of the players in that game last night probably had their girlfriends or wives or whoever else watching the game. Why is it Travis's fault that his girlfriend is, one of the most famous people in the world, and why is it Taylor's fault that the NFL feels the need to constantly pan to her? She's just trying to watch a game, man. Just like the rest of us. Literally just like the rest of us. She's just trying to watch the fucking game. It's not her goddamn fault. And it infuriates me to no end. Especially because the same group of people that are like, well, I don't want to watch the NFL anymore because Taylor Swift's on there too much. Those are the same people that said they weren't going to watch the NFL whenever they were kneeling for the national anthem. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, watch the fucking game. I watched the Super Bowl. Did they cut to Taylor Swift quite a few times? Yeah. Did it bother me? No, I didn't care. Especially, it's not like they cut to Taylor Swift for 3 straight minutes unending while the game's going on and you can't see it because it's not on camera. They cut to her just to get her reaction when, like, Travis made a play or something like that, and then they cut out. Who cares? Who cares? It's really not that big of a deal. It's not. It's not. It happens for, like, maybe 3 seconds each cut, and there wasn't that many cuts. She was maybe on screen for 2 minutes, and that's being, like, generous to the Taylor Swift haters. It's really not a big deal. And it just angers me that people make it that way because, this is, we've seen a lot over the years that super mega famous people can start to legitimately have psychological problems and trauma because they can't live their lives normally. Look at Michael Jackson. I remember there was an interview or something with Michael Jackson where he pretty much said, he's like, the only thing I want to do is to just go to the grocery store. I just want to have a moment where I can just go to a store and not have people recognize me, not have people flock me, not have people flood to me. Me just go to a store, everybody ignores me, and I can just do my thing. Just be by myself in society. And that just wasn't an option for him because he's fucking Michael Jackson, right? But what I'm trying to make this point about is when you get to a certain level of fame, normal things in a lot of ways can't be experienced because you're so fucking famous. And I guess it just angers me that certain NFL fans are trying to take away another one of those normal things from somebody like Taylor Swift to which she can't experience because it annoys them, right? I feel like, at least, again, not a Taylor Swift fan in any way. Don't listen to her music, whatever else. But I feel like from what I've seen, her being able to watch Travis play and do all that is probably an incredible sense of normalcy for her. And it just angers me that people feel the need to take that away from her to no fault of her own. That's it. That's all I got for you today. As I said in the beginning of the video, if you're still watching, free Palestine. Call for a ceasefire. The death of Palestinians at the hands of Israeli armed forces, even through multiple attempts from Palestinians to call for a ceasefire to stop the unnecessary violence from the hands of the Israeli have gone ignored by the Israelis, and we can't do much here in the United States or in other countries, but we can try to hold our leaders accountable for supporting such unnecessary bloodshed. Thank you again. This is Aaron from the Writer's Block and from the Ballpit. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.